Yo, what's good everyone? Thank you for tuning in to today's video. If you're new around here, my name is Aiden, and after 2 weeks away, we finally have some brand new content for the channel. Now, I did actually take a week to go away on holiday with the family. It was incredible, probably one of the best weeks of my life. And after such an incredible week, I still needed another week to really get myself back together, get myself back in a routine before I felt comfortable to come on camera and actually talk to you guys about shoes again. So even though this shoe's been out for about a week or so now, and it's probably not a shoe that's actually new to a lot of you guys, this is still very much a really brand new shoe to me. This is one of the very first times I'm actually seeing it. So in today's review, we will be taking a look at the Nike Air Max 1 in the sanddrift colorway. It's definitely a shoe I've been keeping a close eye out for, and I'm very glad to be able to say that we're sat here ready to do this review for you guys right now. So with all that said, I'm not going to talk anymore in the intro. Just sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and get straight into this video. So just like we always do before we get stuck into the shoes, let's just get this off with the packaging. And for once, we do actually have a very different look to the box than what we normally get with most average Air Max 1 releases. Now for this one, we do have that mostly all black box with that gel-like Nike branding across the front, as you can see. Now this is normally something that's reserved for special releases. As far as I'm aware, this isn't a special release as far as I'm concerned. I thought this was just a GR, but maybe I'm wrong on that, so don't quote me on it. Now the box itself is pretty much just in that regular style in terms of the actual box, so we just have a pretty standard box here. Now if we do take a quick look at the label, which reads, we do have the women's Nike Air Max 1 PRM ESS, which maybe stands for essential, and then as the colorway it does actually read Summit White Sanddrift Phantom colorway. Now this is a personal pair for myself, as it is a UK size 9, and even though I did say that this is a standard box, it actually kind of isn't, as it actually is more of a Jordan 1 style, as it is actually a pop-top lid. So there you go for that. Always nice to get something a little bit different. So if we just pop the lid down to one side, on the inside we do also have some very nice tissue paper, which actually does spell out Nike on it as well. Another very nice touch. And then underneath that, we have what we came for. Here we have the kicks, so let's go ahead and get straight into the shoes. So without any further ado, the moment we've all been waiting for, in hand we have the Nike Air Max 1 women's exclusive in the sanddrift colorway. Now this is definitely one of those ones that I feel like, if you're into Air Max 1s, was on a lot of people's radars, but at the same time, because it is a women's exclusive release, I also didn't really see as much talk about it as maybe what we would have done if it was extended to both men and women's sizing. Maybe that's just my take, maybe that's a hot take, but kind of just seems to be the case in a lot of these Air Max 1 releases that when it is a women's release, I don't really see too many people talking about it. When it is extended, there is a lot more chatter, so make of that what you will. Now the shoe itself is very clean, very summer inspired, and it is definitely one that I wanted to add to the personal collection. And when it did come to the release, I was actually abroad when these actually did drop. Fortunately enough for me, I was able to secure my pair pretty easily. I think I actually got mine from Size, but they were sitting on Sneakers for a while. They were sitting on a bunch of other retailers as well. But as I'm actually sat here now a week later, a lot of the sizes have now sold out, and I think pretty much they only have the smaller sizes left in stock on places like, again, Size, Foot Patrol and Sneakers. So if you do actually want to get your hands on these, unfortunately in those bigger sizes it is going to look like the secondary market. So before you actually do decide to actually go ahead and actually pick these up, in my review I'm going to tell you absolutely everything that you need to know, from materials through to sizing. So by the end of this video you can decide for yourself whether this is something you're going to add to your personal collection as well. So just diving straight into this one, starting out with the upper to begin with. And for this one we do actually see that very nice classic clean and simple layout featuring hues of grey, cream, white and of course most importantly sanddrift. All in all, the colours combined definitely make up a very nice clean and simple summer option. With that said, if we kick this off from the front of the shoe and we'll gradually work our way back. So at the base of the shoe, but primarily seen on the toe box, we do have a slight deviation from your regular mesh material, as this shoe actually adopts more of a knit type of look on the toe box itself. And then wrapping around the toe box on the mudguard, of course, we have that sanddrift coloured nubuck actually making up the mudguard itself. Now, being the fact that they've actually gone with more of a knit look on the actual toe box, doesn't really change anything. It's still very nice, it's still very breathable, very soft to the touch, and the overall look hasn't changed that much. It's not even something that I noticed off the pictures, and it wasn't until I actually got them in hand, started to do the box shot, started to take a closer look at them, that I actually realised that it's a slightly different pattern, a slightly different texture, and overall I think it is a very nice change to the shoe maybe. I mean, it's not something that I'm sure a lot of people are even going to give much thought or even notice, but it is definitely something that I wanted to point out just because of the fact that it is a slightly different detail that we don't normally see. And then as far as the mudguard's concerned, it is just your pretty standard nubuck material. Very nice and soft to the touch. It's nothing premium, it's nothing outlandish, but as far as the overall colour's concerned, definitely is very nice, very tonal, very muted. So overall, absolutely no complaints from me. And as we then continue to work our way further back the shoe, again, we do have more of those very nice tonal hues. So on both the U-throw as well as in the quarter midfoot panel, we do again see more of that very nice, soft to the touch nubuck material. And then in the middle of the midfoot itself, just like what we saw with the mudguard, we do have more of that sanddrift colour making up this Nike swoosh. Now the swoosh itself is actually done from what I believe is a synthetic leather. Doesn't feel premium, doesn't feel like anything really to write home about, but overall it is a nice change up from the nubuck we've been seeing on the shoe so far. So again, no complaints from me. And from there, we do work our way up onto the ankle collar, starting off with the top eye stage to begin with. Around the eye stage, just like what we saw in the midfoot, we do have more of that softer to touch nubuck material, and then the eye stays themselves have been constructed from this white TPU material. And as we then reach the collar of the shoe, again, just like what we saw with the toe box, we do have more of that knit type of feel making up the collar itself. And as we then work our way up onto the heel of the shoe, this for me is probably the biggest and most significant deviation from your typical Air Max 1 release, as instead of that embroidered Nike Air branding, this shoe actually adopts more of an embossed or even debossed Nike Air branding actually featured on the heel. Has a slight sheen to it in certain lighting. It's nothing shiny, it's nothing really out there, it's more of a refined look, but I definitely did feel like, because we're getting so many Air Max 1 releases, any subtle changes from a regular one, in some cases, as long as it's being pulled off effectively, is absolutely fine by me. And this is definitely one of those changes that I'm going to absolutely not complain about. I think it is a very, very nice touch. Now, when it does come to the overall lacing options for these, we do only actually get one set of laces. And unfortunately, the laces that come with the shoe are just not the laces I want to go with, as they are of a flat white shoelace with a slight sheen or shimmer to it. Definitely gives the shoe a very nice feminine look, and if you are into that and it is something that appeals to you, absolutely fine. But for me personally, it is bordering a little bit too much on the feminine side, even though this is a women's release. So with that said, I'm just going to swap them out for a flat white shoelace, and in my humble opinion, I do actually feel like it is going to make the overall look of the shoe much better, but that's just my take on it. And then beneath the lace themselves, again, just like what we saw with the toe box as well as on the ankle collar, we do again see more of that knit material making up the tongue of the shoe itself. As we then work our way up to the top of the tongue, again, we do have more of that very nice embossed detailing. And as we then work our way onto the inside of the shoe, we do have a very nicely padded sock liner. Definitely always feels like the women's exclusives are a little bit more comfortable both in hand and underfoot, and this is no exception. Very nice and soft to the touch, has a very nice premium feel to it. So as far as the overall comfort's concerned for these, you're going to be absolutely fine with this. And as we then continue to work our way even further onto the inside of the shoe, we just have your pretty standard basic insole, and we do also have that Nike Air branding featured as well. And then just to round us off in terms of the details, as we do work our way down to the midsole, we do have your pretty standard polyurethane midsole with that visible air unit towards the heel. And if you do look closely at the air unit, it has this very nice peach tint to it, which I personally thought was a very, very nice touch in my opinion. And then as we do work our way onto the outsole, it is just your pretty standard Air Max 1 style of outsole with that waffle design. And again, just like what we saw with a lot of other Air Max 1 releases, we do have that very nice speckled pattern to it. Now, when it does come to the overall sizing for these, I'm just going to suggest you go with your natural true to size fit in whatever you typically wear with Air Max 1s in both men's and women's releases. As in the UK, they are the same size. I just go with my natural true to size fit, which again, for me personally, is a UK size 9. So that's just what I'm going to recommend that you guys do as well. Just go with your natural true to size fit and you're going to be absolutely fine. Again, I don't think these are sitting at most retailers, so you may not have the option to try them out. But fortunately enough, Air Max 1s are releasing at such an incredible rate. There's a bunch of Air Max 1s sitting on shelves at pretty much every retailer. So if you can't try these out first, try any other Air Max 1 and you'll be absolutely fine. And then other than that, we've pretty much covered everything that you need to know. So if we now just go ahead and just wrap up this video. So just to wrap up this video, so you guys can get out of here, in terms of my overall opinion on the shoe itself, to give these a rating, I'm going to say they are a very solid 8 out of 10. It's a very nice, clean, simple shoe to rock this summer. Both men and women can rock it quite easily, I'm sure. I mean, if you are looking for an everyday shoe that doesn't really take much effort to dress, then this is definitely one of those ones I would highly recommend picking up. I think the overall colourway is very simple, it's very clean, it's going to match up to a lot of different outfits. The overall quality of the materials is absolutely fine as well. It's nothing extravagant, but at the price point, in my opinion, it's absolutely fine. And as far as my personal purse is concerned, QC was immaculate, to be completely honest. There isn't really any glue stains or any issues with it. So overall, very, very pleasantly happy with these, and I do think it is definitely going to get a lot of love and a lot of wear from me over the summertime. I would love to get your guys' take on it as well, so do let me know what you think of my rating. Let me know what yours is as well, and if you did pick these up, let me know what you are going to do with the laces, because again, this is probably the only area of the shoe that I just absolutely didn't like, so again, take that with a grain of salt. But outside of that, like I say each and every one of my videos, if you have stuck around to the end, I do just want to say a massive thank you. If you haven't already, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. Also, do make sure the bell notification is switched on so you never miss a video, and I hope to see you all again in the next one. Peace.